Welcome to another episode of The Big.
And Short of It All. Hello, guys.
What's going on? What's up, James?
What's going on, Larry?
Not much, man.
Oh, no.
What?
It sounds like you got some stuff to talk about.
No. I do have some questions I want to ask you, though.
Okay.
I don't know if you can answer them today,
Okay.
but, try your best. All right?
Yep.
Ready?
I don't know what Try Your Best reminds me of a song. Just try your best. What is that song? But yeah,
I don't know. I thought you was going for like try your it's the best. So something.
Around.
Yeah, that's what I thought you was talking about first.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Let's try your. It's gonna bug me out.
I know. I was trying. That's why I gave you a second. I was like, well, you didn't get it. So, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So the first, I only got 3.
Okay.
We won't have to talk about them too long. First question I have is, if you had to take a movie like that it don't have to be a movie that you love, but if you had to take a movie that doesn't have a sequel and give it a sequel,
Oh man.
but put it in a different genre, what would you do?
Man.
I can give you mine if you want time.
Go for it.
So this is, I just thought about this like 2 minutes ago. So I'm gonna do Inception,
Okay.
but I'm gonna do like I guess it's still kind of like a drama, but it's like a comedic flip.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take the same concept to where instead of them like trying to go into people's dreams and implant ideas or steal ideas,
Mm-hmm.
what they're gonna do is they're still gonna do that. They're still gonna go into people's dreams and their minds, but they're gonna take the information. They're gonna talk to the people and try to build their dream homes in reality.
Okay.
So it's gonna be like dream home, like realtors, but in the mind.
Interesting. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I came up with this, but I mean it don't have to be dream homes. It could be like, let's say some guy who's a billionaire wants to build like a theme park, and instead of like it's him trying to explain what he wants it to be, they can go inside their mind and see it,
Mm-hmm.
and they can come out and then develop it.
What would you say the conflict would be? Like, what's the?
So the conflict would be economy.
Okay.
Like, I mean, obviously you got to fund it,
Mm-hmm.
so you got to find some way to get funding for it. So they got to figure out a way to come up with that funding.
Okay.
So that because I'm pretty sure like most startup businesses, nobody just wants to just invest in it out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
So they got to figure out a way to get the money to fund the very first one, and then of course they feel like, oh, if we can get this money for the first one, and then once we build it, the people will see it and they believe in it, and it'll be all great from there. But of course, it's a drama, a comedy drama, them trying to figure out how to get the money, but at the same time dealing with people's unreal expectations. Because in your mind, obviously anything is possible, but reality, there are certain limitations. So you got to find that narrow bridge in between.
It's almost sound like it's coming from a place of a personal experience, almost like you've been in a sales or customer service.
No. I mean, I have, but that's not where it's coming from.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the first thing I could think of. Because there are probably a lot of movies that don't have sequels that if I had time to think of, I would come up with. But that's the first one that comes to my mind, probably because it's one of my, up there movies. So.
Yeah, I was thinking. The first thing thought I was trying to think of all my favorite movies, and V for Vendetta is one of them, and it's based on the comics, so obviously
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of hard to like try to picture it going to another genre. But I couldn't really think of which way I would want it to go, especially since V is dead. But would it be Evie hit the mantle? I don't know. Just I couldn't really think of anything. And then you were talking. I was like, oh, well, I don't want him to just be talking to nothing. So I was like,
no, I got you.
So I thought of Major Payne next, and I was thinking of obviously the next place to go would be action.
Okay, I can see that.
So the guys, little kids that grew up, would Major Payne still be in it? I mean, Damon Wayans is still alive, so would it just be him trying to,
Because he was still teaching at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So
So I have to think about which way that can go. Let's go with Major Payne for now.
You want me to give you my idea
Mhm.
for Major Payne?
Okay,
I'm just trying to help you out.
go for it.
Because this is off what you just said. Because you said turn it into action.
Mhm.
So this is a kind of a cheat because you still make an action comedy. So you still have some comedy,
Mhm.
but probably 85, whatever.
Yeah.
So let's say you make an action, right? So you have the kids who grew up. You got Major Payne who's still teaching. You establish in the first movie that he has this, horrible history in the military.
Mhm.
Let's say he had some guy who's like an arch rival that shows up, and he kidnaps him or does something to him. So now the grown-up kids have to use what he taught them to go find him and retrieve him back.
Let's get the band back together because obviously they're not going to all go to the same place.
No. So yeah, so then you get so you probably have to have like a montage of them going to get the other kids and to convince them like, hey man, Major Payne's been taken.
Mhm.
Man, I don't care about him. He was horrible to me as a kid. Come on, man.
But he made you who you are today.
He stopped at 6 tubby. Like,
He clipped.
that's just my thought.
Kevin Parsons is still alive, and then
Mm-hmm.
what the little boy or that Orlando person?
Orlando Brown?
Yeah. We have to recast
It
him.
ruins the whole movie for
We
you.
have to recast him.
I mean, he could be kind of like he could be like a Hugh Jackman First Class cameo, where they come to the bar and he was like, hey man, go on about your way. Like they could try to go recruit him. He's like, oh man, he started talking crazy. Like we don't need him. It's okay.
Oh, you trying to go get my horse?
Like, yeah. They just back away slowly. Like, we were never here.
They could also do like a meta kind of thing, like, oh yeah, he went off the deep end.
Mhm.
Yeah,
See, you can write them in, but then write them out, right?
Mhm.
Same time.
exactly.
Because everybody don't have to come back, but at least you see the scene of them trying to get everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But then whoever agrees can do it, whatever.
I like
Just write it. What would you call it though?
it. Oh man, you just be okay. I'm not good at thinking on the spot.
That's why I preface it. I said you may not be able to answer all these right now, but maybe later. Major Payne 2. Ooh, what was the story you told the dude, the kid, the bedtime story about the train?
Yeah, that little engine that good.
Major Payne 2. Choo choo, little train. Something with the train. I don't know.
I was trying to, the first thing that came to my mind was Return of Pain because they're trying to return him. But
I like that.
Major Pain is like a say, like, oh, you're a major pain in my butt.
Yeah.
So I was trying to make it. I can't think of.
I like Return of Pain, but like I guess my only thing would be if you did that, would you even add the Major Payne 2, or would it just be like Return of Pain?
I would just do Return of Pain.
Okay, I could work with that. I say we write it and then sell it
All right.
for $15 billion.
But listen, I'm sure Hollywood would be open. They'd hear it.
Yeah, because that's all they do is make sequels and reboot stuff.
Exactly. I don't. Maybe even who owns that? I don't know. I'm going too deep now. Just let it go.
This is kind of a side note, but I've been seeing this lately. People talk about this online. Like I've heard people say that Toy Story 3 was a perfect trilogy after the third one. Like the third. I've heard some people say that Toy Story, the third Toy Story,
Mhm.
basically wrapped up the whole series, and that was it. And then like they kept going.
Yep. I mean that's When you think trilogy, everybody's trilogy franchises aren't really trilogies anymore. I mean they're just like Despicable Me 4 is going. Of course they have the Minions and spin-offs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just.
Because where it stemmed from, I think I was watching a video where they did somebody read a report where Quentin Tarantino, he says he refuses to watch the fourth Toy Story because he believes that like the 1, 2, and 3, that's so great because he doesn't want to ruin it. So like the third one is just the way it ends. Mm-hmm. It ends it perfect to him. So you're like, I don't want to watch the fourth one because it's going to ruin it for me.
So I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Obviously, I'm not saying that whatever he feels isn't bad. Toy Story 3 was great. It did cap off things very well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. You can still watch a movie and like, what's the word? Discredit, just ignore it. Just be like, I still feel like 1, 2, 3 still a complete trilogy, and 4 was unnecessary.
True, but like, okay, think about this, James. So they redid Aladdin with Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't particularly like it.
I thought it was the better of the remakes, but yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm not saying you didn't hate it, but like, it still wasn't
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So obviously, Aladdin is still one of your favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
So the Will Smith version is not going to supersede that one in your mind. However, it still exists in your mind because
does.
you saw it. What if you never saw it?
I would be optimistic. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it does. It would be nice to not know about it. It would be nice to just say like it doesn't exist. And if somebody did come up and say, "Hey, we're going to do an Aladdin remake," then I would be pretty optimistic about it. But now that it's happened, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
now we have to not only don't have to necessarily live up to the first one, but it's like, are you going to be better than the other one? Are you going to?
Yeah.
So now it's a whole bunch of extras.
I feel like we're not way off topic, but I will say, I think I said this when we talked about the last time. I feel like that remake most remakes have large shoes to fill.
Mm-hmm.
Because as we know, we talked about this numerous times, even a couple episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
As much as some movies are great, there is a big thing that helps in the name of nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's hard to fight against nostalgia.
And that can either help or hinder, but it's going to be a big sway one way or the other.
Yeah, especially if it's something you grew up with or you are very fond of, that nostalgia is it's a hard hill to climb sometimes.
Which, it was evident in the Belinda episode where she was like, "Yeah, I liked it more," and I'm like, it's
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what I was saying in the group chat when I was like, I think for me, a big thing that helps me as far as why I probably have, I don't say it, I like more Marvel movies than most people, but I'm okay with them is because I don't have any I don't have no attachments to what this character was, or I have no reference point this side note, I'm all over the place.
Okay.
After watching X-Men 97, now that Rogue ruined the Rogue in the X-Men movies for me. She's trash now. After watching the Rogue in X-Men 97, when I think about Rogue, she is horrible.
She is.
Why is she there?
That is very true. I guess because they had the school setting, and Xavier's recruiting all these children. It sounds weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they tried to put her in a learning, what's the word, situation. So I understand why they did it.
Okay, here's the thing. I agree with your point. My issue isn't her age.
Okay.
I'm cool with her being, because wasn't she the same age as Cyclops and them?
I know
Or was she
Cyclops was
younger?
older, but yeah, like the other, what's the name, like Bobby Drake, Iceman, and
Yeah, she was about there was it.
Yeah.
So I have no issue with that. My issue is just her personality. Compared to the personality of X-Men 97, her personality is about as dry
Agreed.
as.
So that's where my comic book knowledge caps out at. So one story is Rogue at some point touched Captain Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
and for some reason, out of all the people whose power she's borrowed, the Captain Marvel power stuck. So I don't know if that happened after the movies, before. If it happened before, then yeah, I can completely understand. There's no, she shouldn't be. And I guess powers don't necessarily make a personality, but she had these badass woman powers, and obviously she's gonna go around walking like she's the stuff. So I don't know. Maybe they were just trying to. No, I was gonna say make a progression.
Nah. But she was in what, 2 movies? She was only in 1 and 2, right? I
Yeah,
don't think she was in 3.
because I was trying. Kitty Pryde was somebody else. Yeah,
Kitty Pryde was in X-Men?
she was in at least the third one when she was going through the walls, and then she put Juggernaut into the.
Oh, that was Kitty Pryde? I didn't know that. I didn't. Again, I don't remember much from the third. The third one was the one with the bridge, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I remember.
Yep. It like So I think I have gone. I don't want to say away from, but I used to say that I like movies that people don't. So when the third one came out, I liked it. It's probably because I was young. Phoenix just blowing people's skin off.
Oh, that was the Phoenix. Yeah.
It had some cool moments. Like I can understand why people. I understand.
Well, so okay, X-Men 3 is a good example of like, at least in my opinion, it's a good example of you make this movie and you throw all these people in there who I have no idea who they are.
Mm-hmm.
But like, then I go back and watch videos or talk to people that are like, Kitty Pryde. I heard of Kitty Pryde.
Mm-hmm.
I know the name, but when I watch the movie, I don't know who that is. She's just some random woman going through a floor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that, to me, that's an example of like, if I knew who that was, it would enhance the moment, but at the same time, it could also hurt the moment depending upon how, they adapt it.
Yep.
But because I have no idea who she is, I'm just like, oh, that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Moving along.
I know Kitty Pryde. As stories or people get older, their powers are more defined, or they add things to people. So Kitty Pryde is one of those people who, I can walk through walls, But now, like when she fights, if you think about it, her fights could be, pretty darn cool. So just being able to put your hand in somebody's head and just kill them. She's. I know this just sounds very absurd. Comics can get very absurd.
Oh, they're comics, man.
She became a pirate.
I was say, doesn't she have like a bird or something?
A dragon.
Dragon.
So no, okay. I want to say I know what's her name. Magic has a dragon. Colossus's sister.
Mm-hmm. She was in New Mutants.
Yeah. I want to say Kitty Pryde has a dragon as well.
I think she does.
Maybe it's the same dragon. I don't know.
So here's the only reference point I have for Kitty Pryde.
Mm-hmm.
So when I played the Marvel game on my phone, Marvel or whatever,
Yeah.
Contest of Champions, she's a character I play with, and in the game she has a dragon that plays with it, sits on like her shoulder.
Yep.
That's the only reason I know she has some kind of animal with her. I don't know. I thought it was a bird, but it may be a dragon. It's some kind of animal that sits on her arm.
Yeah.
And she uses it to fight.
Which is interesting. Like why they did that for two women? They're trying to say like, is that how we make a woman a cool character?
I don't know, man. I have no idea. I do have a question. I know we veered way off from the question I was asking, or the questions I was going to ask, but
Okay.
I have to ask now because I'm since we're on the topic.
Okay.
Again, I know this. This is me trying to pull from your vast, movie knowledge, but like, is there like a character from any movie that like, and it could be a bad movie, it could be a good movie, particularly a bad one though, but like, is there a movie character to where you were kind of excited to see because sometimes, I don't know why they do this, obviously because I'm not in the industry, but like sometimes they'll write characters and they'll give them like the basic whatever because they know like, oh, in the second movie this character's gonna go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So is there like a character to where like you saw this person in one movie and you were like, even though it wasn't the best character, wasn't the best movie, but you were still kind of excited to see the development of them, but they never got like a sequel or they never panned out? Like, is there a character like that for you?
I'm sure, yes, and I'm trying to think like so canceled movies. The first one that comes to mind is Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, but I didn't like the second one, so I don't think he counts. I'm gonna have to think about that. If you got one, go ahead. I'm up.
The first one I can think of, you're not gonna like it. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Prince Zuko from M. Night Shyamalan's. Him and Azula from, it's a double thing. Them two from the M. Night Shyamalan Last Avatar.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was getting.
So I remember the guy who played him was the Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah.
I don't. His sister was in the movie.
She came in like the very end. She was like a. I don't even know if it was a mid-credit scene or if maybe it was the actual end of the movie, but she just, all you saw was like Lord Iroh, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
not Iroh, Fire Lord, whatever.
Yeah. What's up?
Talking to her, she was like, basically, go get your brother or whatever. So she looks up and smiles, and that was it. And so like I was excited because from watching the cartoon, she's one of my, I don't say favorite characters, but I like her. She's at the top of the list, and so I was very interested to see like how this is gonna play out. And then I was just like, But in all honesty, after watching the movie, I knew it probably wasn't gonna get a sequel, but at the same time, I was just like, I would have liked to have seen it.
So, okay. It somewhat counts. I mean, so Percy Jackson, Lightning Thief, I didn't care for that movie, but I did like Sea of Monsters, and I was sad that stopped because I did want to see, if the next one, I read the books and I thought, I'd like to see the rest of them if they are bad.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first one I can think of.
I still gotta watch the show. I've heard the show is a lot more
Accurate.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's because I think they're on season 2 or season 3.
They've only done season 1 so far.
Okay, so that's what it is. Because I know they just put out a trailer for Sea of Monsters.
Oh, I gotta watch it.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Because I remember they dropped a trailer for the new season, but I didn't know if it was 2 or 3. But it's Sea of Monsters.
Okay,
I know that.
I was going to ask you, did they have a site? You haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I didn't watch it because I didn't watch the first season, so I didn't want to watch the trailer for the second one.
Yeah, we can watch it. I'm excited about that. All right. Okay. If you want to go to the next question, go for it. I got to think of whoever.
That's what I said. That's my preference. These are probably gonna make you think, and you may not have an answer right now, but we can always come back.
Mm-hmm.
So the next question is, if you had to pick a movie universe to live in, what movie universe would you pick?
Okay, hold on. I'm texting myself these questions.
No, you good.
So, movie character that didn't get a sequel that you wanted to see,
Mm-hmm.
and a stand-alone movie, I think you said, that...
A movie that didn't get a sequel that you would want to do with a different genre. So a movie sequel with a different genre, I guess. That doesn't have a sequel.
Okay, what was the question you just asked?
So what movie universe would you pick to live in?
Oh man, Ready Player One was the first one that came to mind, but
what part of Ready Player One would you live in?
The actual real world is horrible.
It's they got trailers on top of trailers on top of trailers.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're living in the not the rich part, but like the other part where I can't, because they don't show you the other part that often. Because I know you got the slum where he stays, then you got there's a rich part, and there's like an office where people just plug in.
Mm-hmm. But they're indentured servants, so I mean they're kind of pretty much slaves. So
Yeah.
But
it's still a cool world to live in, though.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, obviously, I wonder the long-term effects of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and cell phone signals and how it's going to affect us. So, being plugged into a headset all the time, I would think that since it's so commonplace that all that stuff doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But go ahead. What would you say is a?
I don't know, man. My first thought could be, I had it and I just lost it. I don't know. Like I guess I'll walk you through my thought process.
Okay.
So my thought process is to X out any universe to where I could possibly be harmed.
Mm-hmm.
So you take out the Hobbit universe or the Lord of the Rings universe, any kind of fantasy, like serious fantasy. Like because there's creatures and magic. As great as that would be, I don't want to have to come outside and like, oh no, a giant sea creature comes out the earth and just eats my whole block. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be in the Marvel universe because unless I'm a superhero, my office building can get taken out because they're fighting aliens from outer space in New York or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So like, I would say probably some kind of comedy, some kind of like rom-com, or maybe like a thriller or somewhere. Die Hard.
Well, that's just a normal play. Normal.
Exactly. No, I don't know. No, I would probably. I kind of would. I mean, in all honesty, I probably do Harry Potter.
Oh yeah. That's good.
I just wouldn't want to be Harry Potter though, because like his life back home was trash.
Agreed.
Ron's wasn't too bad.
Started from the bottom that year.
Yeah.
So if I was to be in these universes, I wouldn't necessarily be the same status that I am now. You could just say,
You can be whoever you want to be in the universe.
Okay, that does change things.
That's what I said. Like, if you're, I was just thinking, like, if for some reason, let's say you put me in Marvel, if for some reason I'm not a superhero, but like, obviously, if I'm gonna be a superhero, yes, that sounds great, but now I gotta fight crime, and I don't want to fight crime.
Well, so you could be a villain.
True, but then now I gotta worry about people always trying. I could be, just doing regular stuff, and they always think I'm doing something evil. And now I gotta worry about people attacking me all the time for no reason.
So okay. I obviously, if you're gonna be in Marvel, then you probably have to pick somebody's powers in particular. But if you were to be, this is me be getting nerdy, a reality warper, then you could literally make things like whatever you want them to be. So let's just say that you want to be rich. All right, I can either magically whatever have money from Fort Knox, maybe I should be saying this, appear in your, and obviously, it would be seen as missing, but then, like, if you just reality warp, then you were owed the money or something like that. Like, it legitimately came to you. So then you are not necessarily a bad guy because...
They don't know exactly what happened.
Exactly.
So you Kenobi everybody.
You can what? Yeah.
You Kenobi everybody.
Yeah.
This is not the... Yeah, come on, man. I get it.
Yeah, I won the lottery. I came into an inheritance that came from the government, reparations. I don't know.
It makes me think about, like, well, especially what you said about the villain part. Do you ever, who, what's the guy's name? He does like animated. He does like the League of Justice Friends or Justice Friends. What do they call?
Justice League.
Well, it's like the Super Friends.
Okay.
But he does like voiceovers or whatever.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, what's his name? So there's a video where it was like he did this video where it's like all the villains and they were sitting around and they were basically talking about like, oh, we gotta be evil, whatever. And like one of the guys was like, do I gotta be evil all the time?
Right.
He was like, do I gotta eat soup evil? Like, why I gotta be evil all the time? That's how I feel. Like if I'm a villain, like, do I have to be evil all the time?
I would say. I mean, you're your own person, so I was thinking that you just pick a villain's powers or something, and you can do whatever you want.
I get that.
Because I mean, there are villains who become anti-heroes or.
Okay. But finish your statement because I got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Do you feel like personally there are too many anti-heroes?
So no. Because what it is that this person was more than likely, I'm not going to say it had started off that way, more than likely a villain. And they became so popular that they didn't want to kill the villain off. Because eventually villains have to stop and die. So the only way to do that is to make them a good guy because good guys rarely lose. So we still got a total line of him being this, character that does... You can't go from hey, I'm killing people to like hey, I'm not killing people. That's not like a natural progression of a person's character.
I just feel like for the record, I completely understand what you're saying. I just feel like anti-heroes is a cop out sometimes.
I mean, yeah.
Everybody just is an anti-hero now.
But the only reason is because these are the popular characters. So I mean, there are plenty of people who are villains that aren't popular that you'll never see it. Well, I won't say never. If they get the right story, they could become an anti-villain.
I don't know, man. I just like I guess because I'm also thinking about too, like, this is kind of recent, but like with the whole Thunderbolts thing, where it's kind of like they're not villains anymore, but they're not heroes. But what are they? Like, especially, I don't know if you watched anybody talk about. Because obviously they haven't released a new trailer. But, I've watched people talking about who went to whatever, or who saw the trailer. And, like, there's a line in the trailer where it's like, they're bad guys, but then they're even worse people. Right.
So
what?
The way Marvel is right now, I just don't take them seriously. Anything that they do. So, while I'm not going to say I don't respect their product now, but back, in the day, you had a sense of direction. Now it's like, all right, Ghost, who, I mean, people, like their abilities, but I don't think anybody like cared for her as like a antagonist. And then you got Red Guardian, who was funny, but like, so it's like, let's just put these mishmash of people together and just say, hey, I know you like these people. I mean, I didn't really, they were okay. Like, I wouldn't want to see them. Yeah. Now you're just teaming up people just to have team up movies.
Well, I will say this to kind of counter your point, because like I said, I don't think you said you've seen it, but like just based on what because I've seen like some leaked footage of it, as well as I heard people talk about it. From what it seems like, they're essentially making them kind of like Marvel's, and this is just the easy way to explain it. Like, yeah, so like in the trailer, they're not really teaming up. They just happen to be like they've all been brought there by different purposes, and they just happen to be together. But so it's not necessarily like, hey, I know this person who can go through a wall. Let's go get her. Like it's not that, but I get what you're saying as far as like these are a group of people that like I'm not gonna say people that like them because people like them. I think the only one that would be questionable on the list would be Ghost, because I feel, and I guess what I mean by questionable is like you either like her or don't like her. Like I like her, but I know a lot of people who don't like her. Like I know a lot of people liked Florence Pugh. I was about to say Elizabeth.
I was about to get to that.
I know a lot of people like her just in general. A lot of people like Red Guardian. A lot of people like Bucky, obviously. A lot of people are probably kind of mixed on what's the lady's name?
I would say Taskmaster.
No, the
Valentina.
Yeah.
I don't think that counts. I mean, she's the person who got everybody together. So that's not necessarily like somebody who, hey, people like you, let's put her on a team. She's over the team, so she still has to kind of be in the movie. So you still they still have to either like her or have some kind of general positivity towards her. Taskmaster, I forgot. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people. I say it this way. I feel like a lot of people like Taskmaster before the hood came off, before the helmet came off. Like in the movie, like before her story was revealed as far as who she was and how she, like when Taskmaster showed up on the bridge and had to fight, everybody's like, oh, Taskmaster. I feel like, at least for me, I know I did. I was gonna say, I think that's one of those cases where you say like people's previous knowledge kind of plays into it. So not necessarily that she's a woman, that's not an issue, but the fact that she's not this I won't say predictive, obviously she's a fighter, but somebody who people go to kind of learn how to fight. This person like talks and they like, kind of cocky. Like you don't get that. She's just a mute fighter, and it's like devoid of any kind of character.
Right, and that's why I said like I feel like, because I feel like that's one of those situations where even though Taskmaster is a different way in the comics, based on just how she showed up on the bridge and how the fight happened, I feel like a lot of people were willing to let, because like I said, it was an awesome fight. She showed up, nice scene, but then once you get the helmet off and it's like, what? Then you realize she can't really copy people's moves like she does, or like the character does in the comics. It's like, oh, this is Taskmaster. Cool. She got a chip in her head.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know much about Taskmaster. My only reference to Taskmaster is from what's the animated show?
I don't know. Probably just a Spider-Man animated series. I don't know.
No, it was newer than that. It's
I've never seen.
I can't remember. It might have been that. I just remember it was an animated show because it was this white guy and like he was real good at like sports or something, and like he was. I just remember him fighting somebody and like he was just like he handled himself very well. And his name ended up being Taskmaster. I can't remember what it was though, but that's my only reference for Taskmaster.
So one thing that I don't believe he's a mutant. He just somehow he's able to retain just somebody's the knowledge, and then eventually. The first thing he learned, he'll forget as he learns more stuff. But what I was going to say about Florence Pugh was, in my, based on what I've seen and heard, the two people of the Thunderbolts who really resonated with people are Yelena Belova,
Just say Florence Pugh.
yeah, and Bucky. The other ones, they they just seemed like they were just not disposable, but they appeared in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Ghost was excuse me
Mm-hmm.
was planned on coming back. Taskmaster, I'm sure was planning on coming back, and obviously Red Guardian, because Yelena, if she's still there, Red Guardian's going to be there, and Val. But obviously they were setting Val up to be. So I feel like the only two people that fits the mold of anti-hero, that because of, like what I said, popular characters that were bad, now they have to be, because they don't want to kill them all, would be Bucky. And Bucky was the head, the poster boy for that.
I feel like they all could be anti-heroes.
And Loki. But I mean, just based on like
based on your definition, I would give you that. But
Yeah.
I feel like as far as anti-hero goes, as far as like, because they're not really villains anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, and this movie could, recover their image. So, like, Ghost, if she's written correctly, people could probably really like Ghost.
Based on that fight scene I saw, the leaked fight scene, which we heard Florence Pugh. Was it Florence Pugh? Yeah. I was like, okay, she done gained some little whatever.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question, because I just thought about this. Do you feel like Bucky and Florence Pugh are more well received because they had more screen time? Because obviously you had Bucky, who was in the movie Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was in, the Avengers.
Yep.
Then he was in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. So obviously he's been around. You got Florence Pugh, who was in Black Widow. Then she came back in Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
So you had more time where those are only two that got more time. The rest of them, you saw them once, and that was it.
And I think, part of them getting more screen time is because they were liked more. So, I mean, Winter Soldier was a very, very good movie. And, if it was a dud, then they could have just as easily have I can't remember how it ends. He saves him from the water. But, they could have easily have just said, oh, Bucky didn't really resonate well, so we'll just, like, put him to the side or something. But Ghost, like I said, I didn't feel like she was meant to come back.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I get what you're saying as far as like Winter Soldier came back because the people liked him. I agree with that. What I'm saying is, when they announced the lineup of the Thunderbolts, do you feel like Bucky and Florence, Yelena, whatever, they were probably more well received than the rest of them because they saw them more, as opposed to the rest of them just they showed up one time, one movie, one show, and then that was it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, if you were to do a tier list, yeah, you can put, level of excitement for all of them, and, probably Taskmaster and Ghost were like, why are they here? Just because, they were just one-offs.
Yeah. Oh, think about U.S. Agent.
That's the other. I was like, I know I'm forgetting somebody. That one's, I'm not going to say weird, but he's like the complete, people did not like him. And then he's on the team. But I think that's because they planned on him coming back.
I was about to say, do you think people didn't like him because he was like a jerk in the show? Because I don't think me personally, I don't think he was bad in the show.
Yeah, no.
But I think, and I'm not going to, obviously I wasn't there when he wrote it, so I don't know. But like, I felt like a large reason why I didn't like him was because they tried to push him off as like the new Captain America. So yeah, and then he ended up being a butthole like he was. I'm just like, who is this guy? I don't like him.
I agree. I think for everybody, I think it's a mix. A mix of him being a butthole and a mix of him, trying to supplant Captain America. I do think that's part of it. Yeah, because what I was about to say, I think it is a butthole thing. I didn't like him just because of his attitude in the show. So that's butthole. Yeah.
And then they killed his black friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, kill off the black friends, man. I recently rewatched First Class, and I still feel some type of way about them killing
Darwin.
Yeah, Darwin. Adapt to this. And he put it, I was like, come
Yeah.
on, man.
And so it's a trope. It's one of those things that people probably roll their eyes for. But I do notice, or I do not look out for, but I do subconsciously notice like when a black person is the first person to die. So if we're at the beginning of the movie and I see black people, I'm not thinking like, oh, are they gonna kill him? Are they gonna kill him? But like if it's the beginning of the movie and a black person dies, I'm like, did anybody else die before this?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that was like I won't say midway through the movie, but there was enough time that passed that I don't think he was the first to die. But yeah, I agree that one, his ability, and then two, of all the people that had to go, I don't know, just.
He wasn't the first to die, but at the same time, he only had 2 scenes. Because the first scene was they recruited him and they got in his cab, and he barely was like, it was like, hey man, show us your real ability. He was like, all right, where y'all want to go? And that was it. I mean, I don't know, I can't remember exactly what he said, but essentially that was what happened. And then you get to the party where they at, and he's having a good time, and then he dies. I was like, dang, that's it?
And what's crazy, like that's one of the most memorable scenes. The other one was when, you know, Magneto put a quarter through Sebastian Shaw's head.
At the end, it was real slow.
It was
I
really
like
good.
First Class, man.
So I didn't like it as much as other people, and it's only because of that one scene when they were just at, you know, all just having fun. And it's like, I don't know if they said, let's see your powers, but it's like, hey, we're going to call, you know, just being so on the nose about making up people's names. It's like,
it's kids.
Yeah.
Like they're young people. A lot of them haven't been able to really showcase their powers because, you know, because you got to think this is a world where they still don't like mutants. So this is probably their first time really hanging out with other people around my age who got powers. It's like, hey, what can you do? We're gonna call you such and such. You know, isn't it a little bit cheesy?
yeah.
Yes, but you know, I let it slide. I was like, okay, but I could adapt. I'm gonna stick my head in the fish tank. Come on, man. Come on.
That's a good point. Kids, like I know back when I was like going cross country, doing like not camps, but you know how you go places and people like, where you from? Oh yeah, you know, Chirac and all this stuff. I'll call you. Yeah, so I guess that's realistic.
But yeah, I liked it. That was probably, if I had to answer my other question, I would probably say, well, I mean, I guess it kind of got like I don't know, man. The X-Men 97 has ruined a lot of it for me.
Okay. I do want to just say that I did not like First Class. I just didn't like it as much as other people.
No, I got you. I'm just sitting here thinking like, because this is my thought process. I was like, I would have liked to have seen some kind of like follow up to that movie, but then I thought about, because I think Days of Future Past came after that, and then which it is what it was. It was okay, but whatever. And then I started thinking about how you had Bishop in that, and I was like, but then I think about the Bishop in X-Men 97, and I was like, I like Bishop. Where was that Bishop at?
Yeah. So I personally think Days of Future Past is one of the best X-Men movies. And Bishop in the movie,
He's barely there.
yeah.
He's a black guy with a big gun in the background.
So that was my whole thing about, you know, X-Men and Transformers. Every movie they like, all right, let's bring this new crop of heroes, but you don't get to resonate with them. Like you don't get to learn and grow with them. Like you have this core. But everybody else is like just disposable. Hey, we're just here for a movie. So that's what Bishop fell prey to.
And then also X-Men is very, very commonly known for not following continuity in movies. So it's kind of like, if you like this character, if their name ain't Cyclops, Jean, Professor X, Magneto, Wolverine, I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know if they're gonna show up. I don't know if they're gonna be here.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. Oh, maybe a Storm. Maybe.
Storm. Need justice for Storm. Respect. She needs respect.
Oh, X-Men 97. Great show, man.
I do. Yeah. I'm glad you. Yeah.
Well, here's that. I loved it. Like I said in the group chat. The only issue was it took me probably maybe I didn't really get into it until probably about episode 3. It was like I was still having a good time, but because it felt like an older cartoon, and so I was just kind of like, oh, okay.
I agree. Like the first episode, I didn't think it was bad, but it was more like I think because I didn't like the original series that I had that I don't know if I'm gonna like this.
Yeah, it just felt. I mean, I don't really recall watching the older one. Maybe I watched like a few episodes, but I don't remember like watching like a lot of it. But it just had like those 90s jokes type of vibe. I just kind of like, which like I said, it's not bad. It's just comparing that to watching like an animated thing today. It was kind of like, and I'm pretty sure they probably wrote it that way because it's 97. So it felt like an old. I was like, okay. And obviously I'm older now, so like I'm used to older content. But then once it started ramping up, I said, oh, okay, all right.
Have you been reading about the writer and everything about X-Men 97? So the person who was like I don't want to say head writer, but he was like, let's call him a showrunner. His last name was like DeMaio or something like that. So he got fired right before they started going on like the press tour or whatever. It was pretty big. Nobody knows the exact reasons, but since he's gone, I don't know how the rest of the season. I mean, they could bring him back.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So like if 2 and this may be a reason that I might think 2 isn't as good. I may have already messed it up for myself. But just the fact that the person who made 1 so good, I feel like 2 probably isn't going to be as good. Season 2.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And that's also kind of like, it reminds me of something we talked about before. Like I feel like don't get me wrong, like I still watch, other videos of people talking about stuff, but I tend to find myself pulling away a lot more because I feel like sometimes the more I know about stuff, the more it kind of influences how I feel or whatever. Granted, like something like that probably wouldn't because I don't really know. I mean, I know about screen, like writers and showrunners and stuff like that, but like not enough to where like, oh, like I can't feel their fingerprints on a show. So like if they say, oh, like unless it's like the only thing I can probably I don't say relate, but the only thing I can probably think about that I do know is like if they say, oh, this director was somebody who did this movie, that movie. So then I can like, okay, those kind of I can see it as but like a screenwriter or a writer, I'm like, all right, he not on the show no more? Okay.
When it comes to TV shows, I'm not as, knowledgeable about the people who write directors and stuff. Obviously Jon Favreau, like he's gone for movies, he's not episodes of stuff. But, sometimes I'll be, just in my van listening to people talk videos and they'll be like, yeah, so this person did an episode of this show, but then they came back and did like the whole season or something. And I'm like, I can't tell. I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I hear that stuff too, but I'm just kind of like, all right.
Yeah.
Because especially when they brought in, when they do like the Marvel news, whatever. Like, they brought in these writers from this. And, okay, that's all well and good.
Sometimes like I can, you can tell like if you what's the show Avatar, The Last Airbender.
The new one.
Yeah, the show. You can kind of see sometimes where like episode 5 or 6, I can't remember which one it was. Like that one just seemed to be more for adults than all the other episodes. And it's like when there's a big change like that, like okay, I can tell somebody else. But if it's like just like this, it's got the same
people
tone,
team,
and it's just like, hey, this camera angle is just different from this one. I can't tell.
Yeah, that's why like here's where I know I can't be like a movie or TV critic. Like well, let me say it this way, like an official one. Like some people, they're like, oh man, the cinematography and like the Dutch angles. And like,
I do know Dutch angles, but if you there's some things in movies where it's like, okay, I wonder if they have words for them. So sometimes like when you get on the phone, if somebody in the movie gets on the phone, I'll be thinking to myself, all right, are we going to hear the person on the other line or are we not?
Oh yeah.
So I wonder if they have words for those kind of things.
Oh, they probably do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, you just made me think about it. The biggest gripe I have about movies is, and this is just because I live in the real world. Nobody, 90% of the time, nobody in movies have phone cases on their phones.
That's very true.
Why? Why not? I mean, I know that because obviously I know because you want to see the Apple, you want to showcase the product. But it bothers me because I'm just like, because I know how much that phone costs, and you just, I'm just la-da-da.
Because not only is it not realistic, but like of all the things that you spend money on for a budget, you can't make the phone, like everybody has a case on their phone, and that's what you're skipping on the money for.
Because you can easily have an Apple phone case.
I never thought about that.
It bothers me so much, because every time I see it, all I can think about is like, man, if you drop that phone, I hope you got Apple Care.
And I won't say it's usually an action movie, but yeah, like I'm just thinking Taken, just I'm coming to get you.
Oh, I missed my pocket. Dang it! Oh no!
I mean, he is pretty old in that movie.
I was watching the video of somebody was talking about the movie Taken. It was just like, at some point we all had to realize, like, he was a horrible dad. He just let his family get taken not once, not twice.
So
I don't remember what the third one was about.
the third one, I think he got taken.
But it still happened twice.
Yeah.
whether the third one they got taken or not, it still happened twice.
Because I remember, you know, he was locked up somewhere, and then he was on the phone with his daughter, and his daughter was like trying to figure out where he was.
Oh, because one of them had to shoot a gun in the air.
Something I can't remember. It's been so long.
That's what I maybe talking about. See, that's what I'm saying. It's so much.
Yep.
I just remember a scene where like they were separated, but they were in the same like city or whatever, and they were he was trying to figure out where she was, and he was like, go on the roof and shoot the gun, and he was gonna listen to what like.
Yep.
Fired 3 times. Like,
it took 2.5 seconds between each gunshot.
First off, how do you know she has enough ammo for this?
Yep.
Because it's not a Star Wars blaster where they can just shoot for days.
And it's not like, okay, now I'm about to get real scientific. It's not like there's nothing between you and the gunshot. So I mean, there could be buses, there could be so many things that's messing up the sound travel.
I don't know, man. At this point, I just feel like Liam Neeson is just a disgruntled white man in every movie.
You heard the story about him, like his somebody got raped in his family?
Oh, about the black guys? Yeah, he pretty much was like, yeah, come at me.
I'm killing any black guy. He said he was just willing to kill any black guy.
Yeah. There was I think it was Atlanta. The third season of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I want to say either third or can't remember which one, but it's the season where they went to London.
Yep.
There's a scene where they go to like this place and like they run into Liam Neeson and he makes a joke about it or whatever.
Yep. So I want to answer the question about what movie universe I would be in. So I came up with Star Wars, and after that was before we started talking about I don't necessarily have to be in my know. So we see all the conflict, and sure, obviously there's slavers, there's all this other stuff, but just to be able to get in the ship and just travel, that would be wonderful.
I can get that.
Not to mention, it'd be great if I had the Force.
Would you wield it for good or for evil?
So I don't.
Or would you be anti?
They don't. I can't think of many things that the Force would allow me to do. Well, okay, fighting maybe. Like if I just wanted to do something discreetly, like the Force isn't something that you can do discreetly and get away with for long.
So okay, let me ask you this question because I feel like you know more about it than I do, and maybe I'm my mind is clouded because I just got through watching The Acolyte.
Okay,
but
I forgot about the Jedi Mind Trick.
Force Light. I think from the what I got from the show Acolyte, they made it sound like the Force is the Force, right? So like you said, obviously the Force is just there, but what makes you good or evil is how you tap into the Force. So like just based on the way the show explains it, it's like obviously the Jedi have their own way of tapping in, through training or techniques or whatever. But like the guy was saying in the show, where like beneath the surface you have like raw emotions like anger, stuff like that, to where you can use that to tap into the Force. And she was like, well, that's the path to the dark side because you're using your emotions. Because, Jedi is all about controlling the emotions. So, does that sound true? Does that sound right to you? Or?
I think they, it has become exaggerated. So, yeah, I mean, yes, that has always been in Star Wars. But recently, it's been so long since I read the books. But recently, all that stuff about tapping in, I remember Rey, she was on a planet, and there was like this area where she was, she felt darkness, and she was headed to him. He was like, and he went right to it. So obviously, there's fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, which is the prequels. But it was so simple during the original trilogy. And it has become so much. And it's understandable, obviously, over the years, people want to add lore. So but, Samuel Jackson, whenever he fights with anger, emotion. He fights with emotion. I think they do specify anger, but he's a Jedi, and it's interesting that I don't know. So yeah, in a way that is true, and I think Disney just started making it more than it used to be.
Because the reason why I'm asking, because it's like to my question to you, like whether you be good or evil. I feel like you were saying, like using the Force itself, like what you use the Force for, isn't inherently evil, unless like you said, you're just wiping everybody's mind or whatever. Yeah. But like I feel like, because I guess if you killing people, that makes it evil. But like the Force itself can't be made evil. It's like what you do with it.
So the way I kind of understood it, the Force, like you said, the Force itself, no, it's definitely not evil. The Force used to be, the way that Obi-Wan Kenobi had explained it is just the Force penetrates everything. It penetrates us. It's just a Force. a presence. What's the word?
I was gonna say probably a presence.
Yeah, that's just there. Mm-hmm. And then as you use it for evil, it tends to corrupt you, which is why lightsabers, they're red, because there is no red kyber crystals, which
because you got to bleed them.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know the specifics, but yeah, like your evil does make it red.
I'm just telling you the term I've heard so many people mention the term bleeding a kyber crystal.
Okay.
So that's just I'm assuming that's what it is, because you didn't finish the afterlife, because you probably don't care because you're not going to. But in the last episode, she bleeds a kyber crystal and turns red.
I saw that, and I don't know if it usually happens that way, because I've heard the backlash, the people not liking it. I don't know enough about it to really care, but I know that they're trying to make every character has something special about them. Not every character, but you got just regular lightsabers, and you got the dual lightsabers, and you got lightsaber whips, and you got purple lightsabers. So they're trying to make her special.
I wouldn't say that makes it special. I will say one thing I did like, because I think I told you like my highlights of the show. But another thing I did like that I didn't mention is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like this is, at least for me, I say it that way. This is the only time that I can think in live action that we got to see a multitude of colored lightsabers. Like you had yellow, green, blue, purple, like in one scene sometimes, all fighting. Because usually it's like everybody has 2 colors or 3 colors, but they're not all in the same scene. So like you get to see, like in this show, you see like 3 or 4 Jedi running with like multicolored sabers. I'm just like, oh, that's you don't usually see that a lot.
Yeah, not a lot. They did it in Attack of the Clones when they're like Coliseum area and all the Jedi came, but it to me it makes it less special. Like if you have all these people, Jedi are supposed to be not rare, but like a special occasion to see one. Like if you just some random person, like sure you heard about Jedi, but like they're so few that you seeing one is one very special, because they're probably, if they're out where you are, they're probably on a mission. So,
well, are you thinking about like present day Star Wars? Because the Acolyte takes place 100 years before.
It does.
So this is back when Jedi are like at their reign or whatever.
But they're Jedi are they still kind of go on mission. So it's like they don't necessarily they're not just everywhere.
Yeah, no. In the show, it's like that. It's like that in the show too. The only reason in the show you saw a lot of them because something happened, so they got called. So basically, they had to recruit, well not recruit, but they had to gather a lot of people to go to this planet because they were going to fight. But in the show, they're not like everywhere in the show. I mean, obviously, when you go to the school, they're there.
Yep.
But like outside of the school, they're not like a thing.
Yeah, they're not policing planets.
Yeah.
You got me getting nerdy. Don't.
Well, I'll just ask this before we get ready to go. I don't really know how long we've been talking.
Me either. Even if I look at the clock, I still don't know.
We'll talk about this before we go. Unless you had something that you wanted to talk about. Because I ain't asked if you had something burning on your heart.
We can talk about it after.
Okay. Have you seen the new Sonic 3 trailer?
I did. So I don't know anything about Shadow. I just knew. I think he has a gun at some point. I'm not sure if that's something
in the game he does.
that he always has, but I know that he didn't have it in the show. Teleporting powers. It looks cool. I'm excited. Jim Carrey looks cool. I'm ready.
Yeah, only thing I know about Shadow is from I saw like the trailer for his like the Shadow game he had back in the day, and in the game I know he had a gun in the game. He also had a motorcycle, and he teleported. That's about all I know. And like I said, in the trailer we saw 2 of the 3. He didn't have the gun in the trailer, which I don't think they're gonna give him a gun. If so, hey man, come on, good luck to them.
Yeah, but still, I mean, obviously all of them are fast. I think they should be faster than a bullet. In my head, they should be faster than a bullet.
Yeah.
2 things. So, if it is a trilogy, does that mean that? Do you think that Shadow would become Silent Spring like on his team, just like everybody else?
I think if I had to make a prediction, I don't think he becomes like friends like Knuckles did. Obviously Sonic and Tails are friends from the show, so obviously they were already going to become friends.
Yep.
But I don't think he joins the team, so to speak, like Knuckles. I think he's probably just going to be kind of like an outlier to where like he's just out there doing his thing, and then he may pop in and help out if needed, but he's not like I'm officially part of the team or anything like that. I saw somebody talking about it, and they was pretty much talking about like just based on what they've seen so far from Shadow, because they had the spinoff show with Knuckles.
Oh, excuse me.
Which it was okay. I liked it. It was more so about Knuckles and Wade, but it was still a good show. I enjoyed it.
I don't know that name.
He's the other Wade is the other police officer.
Oh, okay.
He works in the town with the other guy. So it was a show followed them to him and Knuckles. But like I saw somebody talking about how like just based on I can say how they're portraying Shadow.
Mhm.
He like they can see him being like a movie of his own or whatever.
Oh,
Because they were simply based it on the fact of like, because I mean obviously it sounds like they know more than I do, because they were talking about, you know, just based on his backstory and how he's a lot darker than, you know, the Sonic series. They can easily see how it can make for him having his own, as opposed to like, because Knuckles spinoff is pretty much kind of like, hey, you like Sonic? He gonna show up in the first episode, but then it's just gonna be Knuckles running around being oblivious to human stuff.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like there's not a lot of whatever there, as opposed to Shadow. But like again, I don't know the history, but the way he made it sound, because he has such a rich history, you can do a lot with it, and it's a lot darker too.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know. All I know is he has a gun, his motorcycle, and he teleports.
So obviously there's the possibility of a spin-off, but what is the likelihood that this one is more than a trilogy? They make 4, 5, 6. So I mean, there's plenty of, you know, Sonic lore. They got like the
There's a lot of characters.
robot Sonic and Amy, the big yeah. There's so many. What do you think the likelihood of that is?
If I'm being honest, depends on how much money it makes.
That's what I was thinking.
It
I mean,
really just depends on how much money it makes.
The first two did well, so I mean, I believe the third one is going to do well. Do you think that this one's going to fall into the trap of the third one not being good?
The only way I can see it not being good is if it's still, because based on the only thing I'm worried about based on the trailer is it's for now. Obviously, trailers can be misleading, or they're gonna show you whatever. For now, it looks like it's following the trope of like the first one. Sonic shows up. Who is this guy? Oh no, this alien. He becomes friends.
Mm-hmm.
Second one, Knuckles shows up. Who is this guy? Oh no, it's a different alien. He becomes friends. Third one, Shadow. Oh no, this guy. Who is he? He's another alien that we built. Like,
It's getting pretty yeah.
So that's the only issue I would probably say I have. But again, it's a trailer. It could obviously be a lot more to it than that. But I don't know.
I think it's interesting that you have obviously aliens. They've been out there for a while, but you have this planet, this world. Human beings just been here, and then all of a sudden, hey, we just got all these Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, just out of nowhere. It's like, well, I mean, the past, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, the story, it's much more compelling for us to. I mean, you could. I know I just be going all over the place.
No, you could.
But it's much more compelling to think like, hey, like Marvel. All of a sudden, like right now, people are getting powers, and you got all these alien invasions, and they've gone back and retconned and said, Eternals and all this other stuff. But
Yeah.
But anyway,
I mean, because outside of that, how else can you introduce another Sonic character?
yeah, exactly.
They have to just pop up. Which I will say, even to counter my point, even though it's the same kind of trope so far, at least this one was built. So, so from what it sounds like, there could be a lot more to it, as opposed to like, oh, this one just showed up from this random portal with a ring around it,
Yeah.
or whatever. So,
But we if you take away the built part, you have this funny character, going against this serious character, and then they become. So I mean, it's I can see how you can be like, I've seen this movie before.
I have one final question about the trailer.
Okay.
If you had to make a bet, plus or above, was it plus or minus?
Yeah.
More or less? 50 words. Do you think Keanu Reeves has more than 50 words or less than 50 words in
I
his movie?
forgot that he's Shadow. I was thinking like it's Idris Elba.
He's Knuckles.
Yeah. So who would
'Cause he don't do a lot of talking in his movies for a reason.
50 words?
More or less than 50 words in the movie.
Oh, that's good.
Because I think he said like 3 in the trailer. Maybe 4. But the way they were, you could tell he wasn't really talking a lot.
Let's say less, because I think Jim Carrey. He's still the mouth. I mean, okay, now we're getting more into it. So obviously we knew that Knuckles was going to switch sides in the middle of the movie, so that would give him more speaking lines. Is Shadow going to switch sides? Like now it's like, oh, we done did this already. So if he switches sides, obviously he's going to have more speaking lines. But if he doesn't, that goes back to does he join Sonic or does he?
He could just have like his own monologue about what he's been through.
Which is true.
He could have his own Bane monologue. You were raised. I was molded by
her. Yeah, I guess he's gonna have to rebel if he was creating the lab, and yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's say more. Over.
All right. I just asked a question because like most days Keanu Reeves doesn't talk a lot in movies. He's very famous for John Wick, and John Wick does what? Kill. He does not talk a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm thinking of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
He could be Batman. I'm gonna make a petition.
He was Batman. And the movie with The Rock and Kevin Hart, he played Batman.
Oh.
The animated Super Pet movie, he played Batman.
Actually, I never was it?
Was it Batman or Superman? No, Nicolas Cage was Superman.
I know The Rock was somebody.
The Rock was Superman's dog.
Okay.
He was Crypto. Mm-hmm. And then Kevin Hart was Batman's dog. Yeah. And then I think Keanu Reeves was Batman. Yeah, he was because they had a little scene together. And they were like talking real like, yeah. So Keanu Reeves was Batman.
Yeah.
So it can happen. You never know.
With the multiverse going
on. Or is it not DC?
I know. I mean,
what do they call it? The Infinite Earths?
Oh my goodness, yeah. That's a story. That is a story.
Oh well, that's it.
So, I don't listen to many. I'm a Eminem. So talk about music now. I haven't really cared for his last 3-4 albums, whatever. They've been listen to them once and then that's good for me. But I just wanted to throw it out there. We don't have to talk about it, but the death of Slim Shady is probably the best thing he's made in a long time, and it's very reminiscent of his old stuff. But it's pretty darn good.
I give it a 3.5 out of 10. I didn't even get to the end of the track. Well, no, I take that back because I didn't listen to the last ones because I think the last one was the one the Toby one, and I already heard it and watched the video. I'm just talking. Maybe not 3.5. I give it 5 out of 10.
Obviously, his rap has passed him. Obviously, his style of rap is old now. People singing and all this other stuff. Even Jay-Z, he kind of, I don't want to say gave up, but
it has nothing to do with the way he raps for me, James. I just don't like the songs.
Okay.
I still like the way he raps. I just don't. A lot of the songs I just didn't.
Yeah.
I think the ones I liked the most was I like Toby. I like Fuel. There's another one I can't remember. Those are ones like to stand out. And there's some other ones I was like, okay, these are nice. And the other ones I'm just like, skip.
So the first time I was listening to it, I can't remember which song it was, but I had just got out the gas station, got me something, and I was chewing on the sweet, and he was like, "You're probably eating stuff in your face right now." I was like, "You mother."
Are you in the car?
I was like, okay, I gotta lose weight, man.
The only one I ain't gonna say I don't like it, but because I did like it at first was the single.
Houdini.
Yeah, but I've heard it so much on the radio. I've heard it like 5 times within like an hour. I don't want to listen to it anymore.
And especially because it is so much like his other older songs.
When I first heard it, I was like, "Oh, this is." That made me excited for the album. But then I heard it like 15 times. Yeah. One day and 20. I was like, I don't want to hear it. So.
Okay, all right. I'm just going to go. So Glorilla and Megan Thee Stallion albums. I tried listening to them, but for some reason their beats don't sound finished. I don't know what it is about those two albums.
Them beats go hard to me, James. Well, I can't say for the albums. The singles that I've heard,
the singles,
the beats go, but I haven't listened to their albums.
Mamushi, I don't know how to pronounce it, but that song, like it don't sound.
That's the
It
Megan
just-
Thee Stallion?
Mhm.
I haven't heard it.
That's the one with the dance. The
Yeah, I haven't heard the whole song. I know what
Okay.
you're talking about. I just haven't listened to the whole song. I've only heard the little
Yeah.
well, suckers high style, whatever part.
Yeah.
That's the only part I've heard. I haven't heard the actual song though. But the Yeah Glow.
Yeah. No, that's
Oh,
that one. I'll be listening to it with my daughter.
man, hey, listen, that one come on.
No, I'm thinking Wannabe. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to say that one too.
Yeah.
That's them together.
hmm
Oh, boy,
She be rapping like she trying to hurt the mic.
she do.
Cuban on Cuban. Come on now, we ain't gotta
Man, she go. I ain't gonna lie. Part of me feels a little kind of like, I ain't gonna say weird, but like because I be in the car, there's people come around because I have my windows out.
Yep.
But at the same time, I be like,
You know.
just go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's how I feel about, some Megan Thee Stallion songs. I'm like, I know this ain't for me. But listen,
They be
this
going. It's another chick called Ken the Man.
Ken.
Yeah, Ken the Man.
Okay.
I like her too. She was on like a Freshman XL not too long ago.
Yeah.
A year or two ago. She basically, because you probably wondering, like how she got the name. So basically, the way she explained it was pretty simple. Basically, I rap like a man. Like I rap just as good as any man.
Okay.
Ken the Man. I was like, all right, I'll take it. That's all I need to know.
I wanted to make a song where I am. How do I put this? So write down all the female artists. Obviously, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm about to get on that, blah. But it's kind of like doing a male version of what they do. It's just rap about sex and selling dick. But at the same time, like I want it to be very obvious who I'm. So I'd be like doing in the background for Megan, and then Nikki switches up her voice. So maybe one time I'm rapping like Nikki, but then if I switch up my voice, then I'll be slurring like Cardi B. Just I don't know, just kind of like. But at the same time, it's not like men don't rap about the same things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know.
I get what you're saying as far as like the styles, basically just mimicking the different styles and ad libs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if done well, it'll be pretty decent.
I'm not gonna really do it. I haven't even done the stuff I want to do.
That's okay. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm good.
You can find us on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, Big and Short of It All,
Mm-hmm.
YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
Big and Short of It All.
All that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Black
Hopefully.
Planet, Short and Big of It All.
Oh,
Ew.
switch it up.
I don't know.
That's bad for
I already know where you're going. That's all good.
yeah, you find me HAPPEE __ MILLS. If you're trying to send a friend request, please send a message with it because I don't know. I just be getting random people. Just
I do too.
yeah.
You can find me on Instagram at DA_Bear BEAR 29. Yeah, man. That's it.
All right. Thank y'all for listening.
Appreciate it. So I had downloaded. Okay.